Hi everyone, it's Charlie Kate here from ESTNN, and today I'm pleased to be joined by Silly from the Los Angeles Guerrillas. Thank you for joining me today.
Yep, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So we'll get straight into the questions, and something that I really wanted to ask you guys about is the roster this season. Yourself and Assault obviously came over from the Minnesota Rocker after a bit of a disappointing end to the season last year. You've joined Apathy coming from the Seattle Surge, and finally Vivid, who was already here on the Gorillas. What are your thoughts on this roster, and how did it initially come about?
So the roster initially came about. I'm born and raised on the West Coast in the U.S. So I had my eye on the Gorillas. Like as soon as I knew we weren't going to be on the rocker, wanted to go to the Gorillas. Thought Viv was a great player. He's a great up and comer. Definitely like a player that could be, molded into a S tier superstar. And obviously the history is there with Apathy, and he was pretty much our best option in choosing a fourth. Um, and kind of like our team dynamic so far.
Yeah, and as you've just said there with Apathy, you yourself, Assault and Apathy all teamed on EG in the 2018 season, winning the World Championships in the last 4v4 COD, which was World War II. What are your thoughts on the change back to 4v4, and how much does it actually differ to playing 5v5 competitive COD?
4v4 and 5v5 are like night and day for me. I feel like every 5v5 game plays like completely different. It's a lot less structured. It's a lot of just like running and gunning and getting kills and stuff. Honestly, it feels like an entirely different game in 5v5. I'm glad 4v4 is back for sure. It definitely fits my playstyle and my teammates' playstyles a lot more. So finally, finally it's back.
Yeah, and is it good to be teaming with two former teammates again, Apathy and Assault? Obviously, you're still with Assault last year, but how's it feel to be joined up with two other players that you won the World Championships with?
It feels great. Big thing for me is having players that just work hard and they don't really have to worry about not playing or not trying and things like that, which are things I've definitely dealt with the past couple years on my 5v5 teams. And obviously keeping four players on the same page is a lot easier than keeping five players on the same page. So I'm just glad, I've got some grown men on my team that want to work hard, and it's 4v4.
Yeah, and one thing I have noticed from watching you guys this season is that you play the game fundamentally really well. All your fundamentals seem to be absolutely perfect, and you've surprised some teams with that this year. Is that due to the experience that you have on the roster with you, Assault and Apathy, or is that just sheer time that you guys have all put in and you've worked and grinded this game this year?
We definitely have grinded a lot. Me and Adam are definitely really big on playing fundamentally correct. We like to have a game plan of how we want to play every map. We have routines of how we want to play like every situation. So obviously that comes with time. I think our fundamentals definitely showed in our S&D for sure. Which being a really weak game mode for us last year, I feel like if your S&D is good, the respawn will eventually come along. So we're right where we want to be.
Yeah, and as you've just said, your S&D is looking great. You're currently 3-0 in raid S&D specifically. One of those wins being a 5-2 comeback against the LA Thieves. You yourself, Silly, you have the second highest KD on that map and mode combination at 1.82. Without giving too much away, what makes you guys so good at raid search and destroy?
Well, me specifically, I've been playing Braid since Black Ops 2, so I've had a lot of time to practice on it. But no, really, it's just a really good map. I feel like that kind of adds on to the point. Like if we have good maps, like the game modes just play better. I mean, it kind of sucks to say that Raid is literally probably our best map in this game, considering it's however many years old. But yeah, that's pretty much what I counted to. It's just a good map. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and your 3-0 win against the LA Thieves did shock a lot of fans. I mean, it definitely ruined my pick'em for the bracket. What went right for you guys in that series, and how did you take such a dominant victory against your Los Angeles rivals?
Um, First things first, I definitely think we had a pretty good map set going into that. If I had to pick out of those three maps for them to win, I would have said it was the game one. And once we won that game one, I was kind of expecting us to 3-0. I feel like they didn't really do a ton of research on us beforehand, maybe, or took us a little bit lightly, and definitely paid off when we were doing our vetoes.
Yeah, and the S&D win came in a 5-2 comeback. What was sort of could you elaborate on a bit of what going through your mind specifically and the rest of the team when you're 5-2 down and then manage to make the comeback?
We honestly shouldn't have been 5-2 down in the first place. We had choked a few rounds ourselves beforehand, like lost a couple really, really tight rounds. And literally when it was 2-5, I was like, dude, this is raid search. Like just to adapt. Like we can come back on this map for sure. And then, round by round, we started adapting. They ran the same strats a couple times. So as soon as that we saw presence at a site, we pretty much just rotated for it. And then, ended up clutching up on that 5-5 round on a 4v4 bomb retake. And that was pretty much, the deal.
Yeah, and along with your S&D looking great, you have come out hot in a few series. You've taken map ones against the likes of Optic Chicago, and you've also played teams such as Atlanta FaZe very close in game ones. I remember there was a checkmate hard point that you guys were very close to winning against them. Do you think with a few changes, the Guerrillas could be challenging for sort of top six in the league?
Absolutely. I already have us in top six in terms of how the teams are right now. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to be on an upward trajectory all year. We're definitely not going to slow down. None of us are players that are gonna, slack off or not try to improve day by day. So, when you can look at a hard point against FaZe or something and see 5 huge mistakes we made and we're losing by, 30, 40 points, I think those are definitely things that can be touched up. And, if we can start closing out these respawns, I think we're going to be a tough team to beat.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier about the maps in this game. Obviously, Express came in last month, and Apocalypse most recently. Some pro players have been mentioning maybe bringing it into the map pool, thinking it could be a good replacement for Crossroads after the P4 change. What are your thoughts on Express and Apocalypse maybe coming into the map set, and do you think it'd be a good idea to change up the map pool later in the season?
I'm always open for new maps being added. I did play Apocalypse yesterday for the first time against like an actual team. Um, the overhead map looks pretty good on the map, but it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't play very fluidly. It kind of reminds me of like a World at War map. There's just like a lot of rocks everywhere and a lot of random buildings and stuff. Not a big fan of that if it were to get added in. In terms of Express, I think Express is good for search, but not much else. So definitely be open to that though.
Yeah, and I assume you guys will be playing on the new patch going into stage two. What are your thoughts on the changes to Crossroads? How do you like that change to P4?
I think everybody kind of had the same idea about Crossroads that, like why is this hill in the middle of the map, like at the bottom of the cliff pretty much. But I mean, we haven't lost it since we've been playing on the new patch. I feel like it actually might play a little bit better, surprisingly. Not that Crossroads is a great hardpoint map by any means, but I feel like, the entire Crossroads map beforehand, you used to worry about literally the entire map just holding those back spawns, and now it makes it a little more fluid, like where you can rotate around and you can flip out and stuff and not have to worry about it too much. So I actually kind of like it.
Yeah, and finally, we're very early to the season, just at the end of stage one as we're recording this. But who do you think sort of are your biggest two or three rivals going into the season and fighting for a spot in champs?
Um, Rivals in terms of like the best teams or just like personal rivals?
Any, whatever you like.
Well, we haven't gotten to play Rocker yet. Rocker is obviously going to be my rival. I'm going to do everything in my power to beat them every time I play them, just because we're not on the team anymore. I love Rocker, but, I just got to take him out we play him. FaZe is an obvious clear rival. Alec, one of my old teammates, he's on that team, and he's definitely had the upper hand on me the past couple of times. So, need to go after them. And, we haven't played Dallas yet either. That's another one on my list I really want to play. So looking forward to that.
All right. Well, thank you for taking time to speak to me today, mate. I really appreciate it, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Sweet. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on.